Good evening and welcome to the North American part of today's matches. We've had 2 European matches and we have 2 North American matches coming up for you very shortly. I am of course joined by Dan. How are you doing, Mr. DDK?
I am fantastic.
Good, and to my right we are of course joined by vENdetta, and to my left we are joined by Janko, all the way from Serbia. Halvor, how are you doing today?
Doing excellent.
Marvellous. Janko, you good?
I'm awesome.
Yanko is indeed awesome. So, before we get into the upcoming matches, we're going to have a quick recap of yesterday's matches.
It is the road to Las Vegas, and here is the Day 2 recap. So to start the day off for Day 2, it was G2 versus Arcade. Arcade, a Russian side, and they were actually able to steal away a map from G2. G2, the semi-finalists at the last major, definitely a team to be feared, a lot of individual skill. But this Russian team coming out of nowhere, stealing away cash very unexpectedly, but it was short-lived as they did fall to a full-strength G2 renewed on the last map, which was Mirage. Mousesports and Lounge was the last quarter-final match from the European segment, and it was a very interesting one. Both teams having lineup fluxes recently, although I've got to say Mousesports coming off a little bit worse, and it definitely showed in their result, losing both maps to their opponents in Lounge. The Polish side looking to reclaim that spot as maybe the second best Polish team behind Virtus Pro, doing a great job so far. They definitely made it look easy. Dogmen versus Liquid, the first American match that we saw taking place to finish off the quarterfinal matches on Day 2, and it was a stunning result. Dogmen managing to upset Liquid. I cannot really believe it. At this point, I'm still lost for words. Liquid are, of course, replacing Fugly with Ali for the time being. Playing from Finland with a high ping, but it's still a shock upset, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Dogmen can provide in the rest of the tournament. Complexity versus Conquest was the last quarterfinal match for the North American region that we saw played on Day 2. And Conquest had a very strong performance, looking very much renewed and going from strength to strength. And I'm quite encouraged to see that, having followed them for quite some time. But it was really Complexity that did shock me. They underperformed, regressing a little bit. They did have to play with stand-in, but one has to wonder what the future looks like for Complexity now. Tonight, we'll be rocking a lot more Counter-Strike action here for the road to Vegas. We'll be playing all 4 semi-finals, 2 from the European region, and then we'll be following with 2 from the North American region. So 6 CET if you want to follow the European games, and 6 CST if you're looking forward to the North American matches. And well, I guess that's all from me, and I'll see you then.
So, thank you, handsome man Dan, for the post of yesterday's matches, the review of yesterday's matches. For those of you who are new to the road to Vegas, we can have a quick look at the format and see exactly how things are working here in both Europe and North America. So there are 8 teams in both regions. Well, there were 8 teams. There are not 8 teams remaining. We'll get into that in a second. The format is best of 3 matches, single elimination all the way. 1 team from Europe and 1 team from the USA will make it to Vegas, where they will play for thousands and thousands of dollars. So we can have a quick look at the schedule and see the matches before and the matches to come. Again, we did have 2 matches in Europe earlier on. We have 2 matches for you in North America coming up as well. Splyce versus Enemy will be the first match of the evening. You see we had G2 versus Dignitas, which was possibly a shock going to Dignitas, 2-0, a strong 2-0, and Vex versus CSGO Lounge, a strong 2-0 for CSGO Lounge. So this has been a tournament of upset. So upcoming we have Splyce versus Enemy, as previously mentioned, and then Dogmen versus Conquest to finish off the evening. Now, I think we can get into the first match of the evening and see what kind of vetoes we have coming in from these 2 teams, and obviously what maps will be picked. We can see on our screens there, Dust 2 was banned by Enemy, Splyce vetoed Overpass, Inferno was picked by Enemy, Mirage picked by Splyce, and the deciding map, should it go the distance, will be Cobblestone. Yanko, what is your opinion on all of this?
Well, my opinion is that this is going to be a 3-mapper, that Enemy is going to win on Inferno, Splyce is going to win on Mirage, and then we're going to have overtime on Cobble.
Overtime?
Yes, and this is pretty easy, an easy conclusion, simply because Enemy beat Cloud9 on Inferno, Splyce beat CLG on Mirage, These are their map picks, so they're obviously going to win on those maps again.
Home maps, perhaps.
Yes, and both teams had also Cobble in the pool in their previous matches, so it has to go to overtime.
Okay, so we've got some serious science there from the Serbian man who can. Halvor, what is your opinion on all of this?
Pretty similar opinion, except I'm going to throw a wrench in the wheels here, and that's simply because we had Splyce playing against Method after they played versus CLG, and they lost on some of the same maps that they won against CLG. So maybe we're not going to see overtime. Maybe we're just going to see a 2-1 in favor of enemy.
Okay, and finally, Dan, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, personally, from the small sample size that I have on both teams, and from what I've seen, I would say that the performance. Well, I want to see Splyce doing it. Basically, I feel like they can, but the performance of Peter is what it all hinges on. And if he's playing well with the AWP, personally, I think that's going to be enough to take it over the line against enemy. Because I feel like when Splyce get going, they can be quite devastating. They've got good coordination, and Peter is kind of stunning actually when he's on point.
Yeah, I feel like over the course of the FACEIT finale, we saw, the league portion that is, we saw improved AWPing from Peter, more consistent AWPing, pretty much from start to finish. Just a big rise, I'd say.
And also actually from a map perspective, I know that Cobblestone and Mirage are both maps they're quite comfortable with, and even if they would say otherwise, from the results that I've seen and how they play on those maps, generally they perform pretty damn well actually. So I would actually, definitely, I'm going to say 2-1 for Splyce personally.
Perhaps we can have a look at the bracket and see how these teams got to where they are at the moment. Has been an interesting tournament on the North American side.
What is this?
So we have Splyce taking down CLG 2-0.
As expected.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, please explain all of the upsets that we have on this, because someone's just looking at this, not having seen it previously. They're probably thinking, what the hell happened here?
Well, what happened is that all of these favorite teams had roster changes, basically, and Splyce, Enemy, and Dogman are not, they're lesser known teams, yes, but they're not bad teams by any stretch of the imagination. They're decent teams, up and coming teams with talented players, and I feel that combining that with the roster changes, and maybe these NA teams, top NA teams, are maybe going to be invited anyway, so maybe they weren't as invested into these games as they would have been otherwise. I mean, it's still, of course, that it is an upset, but for me it wasn't as surprising maybe.
It's not like none of these players, and I guess it's more the names, the team names that are not as known. The players in the various teams are fairly well known in NA, so it's not like the first time they beat a team of the caliber of CLG, Liquid, or Cloud9 for that matter. So it's probably more of a unusual sighting more than a big upset, really. But it's fun that they did it by playing just better, by outplaying them, and it's not some random fluke. It's not because somebody had connection issues. It's not because somebody played with the stand-in because, well, they did, but that's the team's own choice. It's not because they were forced to. So it's fun to see that the I guess tier 2 teams in NA are actually stepping up to the plate and bringing it to the best teams.
So on the subject of connection issues, one of the players coming into the first match has had a power cut, so we're going to be slightly delayed in the beginning of that. But while we have some time, North America, it seems a storm is coming over there. We've seen lots of tweets from credible sources like Shazam, for example. But in all seriousness, there's a lot of teams actually who have 4 players at the moment. It seems that Cloud9 are waiting to see if Swag gets unbanned. Method are down to 4 players. I mean, Liquid are trying out Alu. I think they're probably going to keep Fugly tied down to a contract until they're comfortable with a replacement player. But that's just the beginning of the story. There are many teams, it seems, and even like TSM, for example, they released a European team, and they're looking to build a North American team. We're hearing things about that. We saw yesterday Complexity seemed to be all over the place. And I believe they're going to be building a new team around Roka. Who knows if any of the other players on that current roster will stay. Maybe they'll all disappear.
Well, we could do some speculation. Method, who played Splyce yesterday, they won their game 2-0, and then Strebor left the team. So maybe he's about to join Complexity, or something to that effect.
Oh, there are so many open doors.
Exactly.
Who
So
knows
we're
which
going to
one
have a
they'll
bit of
take.
an NA shuffle, I think, around New Year's or after New Year's when most contracts run out. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Indeed, and for me personally, I'm more interested rather than the roster, the general rosters that we're seeing, at least for the teams who exist at the moment. I'm more interested in who's going to drive the strategic vision of these teams, because if you look at the existing, or maybe old is more apparent, complexity lineup, for example, we always say they never had much direction other than picks. So what I want to see is if they're going to be bringing in people to provide stronger strategy and more discipline.
I would
for
hope
these
so.
teams. Because that for me is the focus, rather than put this person here, put this person there. It's who's pulling the strings of those puppets, which I think is the priority, especially for North American Counter-Strike.
And you want a functional team. More than anything, you don't want 5 individuals placed into the same server and just let that be and put a name tag on it and call it complexity, for instance. You actually want someone who can work together and actually function as a unit. And I guess it's hard to do in NA because you don't find that many in-game leaders. You don't find that many strategically minded people over there as you do in EU. So that's going to be a challenge. But I think definitely you can create or mix and match players from various teams that are current today and get something really interesting going into 2016.
Well, we'll see how that turns out. So it turns out, to use the word again immediately, or the phrase rather, that Splyce are going to be using their coach, because aKis, well, I'm not going to say someone's cut the power, but he's had a power cut. Who knows why? So
That's unfortunate.
Do you still feel confident in your 2-1?
I was just going to say that really, I feel quite disappointed now.
It's aKis who's had the power cut.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, it's not Peter or somebody, because I think if they lose Peter, that's a huge deal. But still, aKis has been a pretty consistent performer for the team. So, and of course, whenever you bring in a stand-in, they're not going to be necessarily familiar with all the setups, even if they are the coach in this case.
And well, to make it even worse for Splyce is the fact that their coach is Scrunk, who is from Germany.
Oh, boom! There it is.
So
is he in? I guess he's in Germany as well.
I'm assuming he is in Germany.
Wow.
So
I doubt they have the budget for otherwise.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's got
that
144 ping, so he's on alu tier.
yeah.
Oh dear, that's not ideal.
Not ideal at all.
So I want to say 2-0 for enemy. I had enemy going 2-1, but I don't know if this is going to work out for Splyce. And it's sad because they're so close to actually making a finals.
Well, hopefully aKis will get his internet or his power working again sooner rather than later, and he can get back into the match. We will have to wait and see. The knife is about to start, so we'll see who starts on the CT side, or the T side again. We've seen some teams choosing the less favoured sides in these best of threes.
Didn't quite work out for Relyks, did it?
Did not work out for Vexed.
And they got stomped on Cobble. I would assume we're just going to see whoever wins knife picks CT here. No magic, no foolery.
There's a lot on the line there. Bearing in mind the winner of the tournament in Vegas qualifies for eLeague, there's a lot of money to be had there.
And not only that, but for these, with so many upsets that we've had, especially on the NA side, that's a massive opportunity to showcase yourself. Even if contracts are ending, you probably want to get on a Cloud9 if you have a possibility, or Liquid, or a CLG. And if you can do that by having a standout performance at a tournament in Las Vegas, then it's a great opportunity for them.
On the subject of a bit of a nerd fact, actually, on the subject of power cuts, since aKis has had a power cut, there's copper theft is actually rife in the UK by some scoundrels who sell it to scrap metal, basically. But sometimes they go into like the small power stations for a building, not realizing what it is, and try and steal the copper, and then just get like massive electrical burns. So got to be careful there. But that can sometimes be the cause of power cuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So perhaps someone has tried to steal some copper and has cut aKis's electricity.
That can happen with animals as well, right?
Animals?
Yeah, let's say a bear runs into, or opens up one of those things, starts mauling on the thing. They get electrocuted, same effect.
Do bears actually do that?
Well, yeah. Well, animals in general do that stuff. At least in Norway, but I guess...
Really?
Yeah, well...
But just open electrical cabinets and just start tearing stuff out.
No, but like if there's a faulty door or something, and there's let's say a stray dog manages to get in there, stuff gets really messy.
I thought you didn't have stray dogs in Norway, but finally I hear that UK and Serbia have something in common: people stealing copper.
There we go. And with that, we'll move into the pistol round. Splyce starting on the T side. Enemy will be on the CT side. And I think the real question is, will the Uber jokes continue?
Most definitely.
We did get through quite a few last time. I think we probably got up to like 10 or something, all of us combined, but I don't think we were even trying.
No, I mean, your Jose Mourinho
Oh, please, let's not go
jokes
there.
stopped at 2.
All right, well, we have the pistol round starting to result in some frags. MAiNLiNE taking down Slemmy immediately. But the main push here from Splyce is on Banana. Looking for those headshots. We will see Stewie2k making his way up. Looking pretty effective, but they haven't checked for koosta. Oh no, what a mistake.
Oh, back to deathmatch for you, sir. What is this?
Oh no, this is disaster.
How many bullets does it take one koosta to find a frag from the back? Enemy left with 2 CT members moving up Banana. They've lost the sight. Splyce getting the bomb down on the grill. Now it's going to be down to 2 versus 2 with MAiNLiNE taking down Stewie2k. Pushing through the smoke now. We have the T's in the CT position, and they've taken the CTs completely by surprise. Lucky alone now versus 2. He doesn't have a kit either. He's going for the 10-second defuse, and that was never going to go down. Scrunk, the German, to come in with the final frag.
That was so weird. Koosta could have just ended the round. They did not see him.
I would love a replay of that.
If
Oh,
only he
Some would
had
call
an
it
op.
cruel. I would call it glory. Oh, look, they've done it
Yes.
as well. 1. No. Where is he? Just.
Oh, I even waited for that long.
He was unlucky. He was unlucky for the
Yeah.
last one, but all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rest.
Agreed.
All the rest. Well, hopefully I'll do better in Stockholm on Saturday.
I mean, well,
All eyes on James.
and we do have the double Mac 10 here from Splyce, so they're looking to go with 2 players that are essentially expendable, that they can push into forward locations to work out, 1, whether or not there is a stack, and 2, they can run and gun, jumping around, shooting on the move effectively against these pistoling players. So that's a very effective strategy, but you kind of want your players to be not too spread apart.
And something that Splyce did a good job of yesterday, or last time we saw them, was simply using utilities to actually clear out bomb sites. And a lot of these upsets from the NA teams, they've actually had that in common. They've been good to, in handling their anti-ecos. And we see rooRoooo already with a Molotov here, so they can use that to clear out corners if they want, but I'm hoping that they can continue on with that strong showing in anti-ecos.
Yeah, and here we go. They're going for it now, and you can see Stewie2k with the Mac 10 as the first man. He will spot koosta, and he gets the double dink there with the Mac 10. Looking for the second one, running out of bullets, but he should be good with his teammates to finish off the rest of the players on the bomb side. There are still 2 there, though. Relyks on low HP, and he is going to be eliminated. Just Uber now. And looks like things aren't going too well.
That was a
for enemy
reasonable
GG.
take, actually. They sent 1 player in on his own, but they smoked off so much to try and give him the best opportunity to get himself in 1 versus 1 or put him in a better situation. And sacrifice him if he needed to be sacrificed.
Yeah, you could tell that they were waiting outside of the bomb site until Stewie was able to either just wipe out the entire site or figure out that, oh, everybody's here,
Collect
so
the
back
intel,
off.
yeah.
So that's really nice. It's a bit of a different way of doing it, but if Stewie's happy and happy to die for his team, then all the best to them. I think it's absolutely viable, seeing how he just had a Mac 10 as well. So there we go. Pretty decent anti-eco coming in from Splyce. Enemy, on the other hand, they're gonna have to wait till that 4th round until they're gonna get anything of real value to work with.
And I like, that Splyce just stick with the same sort of setup. We might even see the exact same round. It's very possible. There's no reason why they shouldn't do that. Although, of course, Lucky's the only dangerous person with a Mac 10, but they've all got helmets, so...
4 Molotovs.
I like that.
It's very good.
This is why I was so encouraged by them previously.
Yeah, you can tell that they've actually been working on their game quite a bit. So that's pretty fun. And right now, just setting it up in a default so they don't get caught off by any aggression. Stewie runs in, Soul Warrior on that B-bomb site once again.
I love it.
Cleared the path for his team. rooRoooo with that strong position, just making sure that the mid area is clear. Of course, he will reset his position as he may get hunted. He will get hunted. koosta now got a different pistol. Maybe he will have a better chance. Oh, no, this looks like a much better idea. Got a Mac 10. He can spray away now. Trying to make a little bit more money before the buy comes in. Definitely won't be holding on to that for the next round.
Yeah, I really can't emphasize enough how well Splyce played this round out. I mean, we saw them, you know, using the guy who had the Mac 10 Slemmy. I think it was Slemmy. Stewie, who had the Mac 10 and a clipboard. He was fact-finding with that clipboard. He found that the bomb site was empty.
Had the lab coat on.
And the best thing there as well is that it's fairly likely, even if there is a stack there, that he might even get a kill, and then the information, and his team's already in position to just hit A. So if that's the case, so it's such a no-brainer. And as mentioned, there's some Molotovs as well. If they need to go into A or something crazy happened, they always had options. So 3-0 now for them.
We'll see the buy come out from the CT side.
This is something I'm not too big of a fan of, the fact that Stewie actually holds on to the Mac 10. Great that you've been a decoy for the first couple of rounds versus an anti-eco. I don't see any reason for you to not buy up fully and just stay a decoy when enemy are actually buying up. I think this could be a tiny bit too greedy. They do have a lot of nades, but...
Is there an argument with the lack of helmets on the CT side?
I suppose, but still. I think you're better off with an AK in any case.
No, he'll need to find a close engagement in order to spam the faces with that weapon. Although, I'm not sure whether... Unless he gets flashed in top mid, he might have trouble finding them. We can see the setup actually over towards top mid here from enemy. They're going to have two people playing on the short area, while indeed Stewie is looking for the info, but at that range he might not be as useful as he wants to be.
Splyce have done a good job of just getting out as many nades from enemy as possible, though.
I love this play from rooRoooo. This reminds me of something that Get Right always used to do stuff like this, where he kind of solo push Pit with nades when his teammates were pushing up towards B. But it looks like both players, instead of leaving someone maybe to lurk in towards the A side, they're actually going to rejoin the push towards Banana. And enemy GG might be quite behind in understanding, although the floating player MAiNLiNE is going to find his way towards B just as the site's going to get hit.
Indeed, so there's going to be a full push here from the T side. Stewie charging in, not getting any frags. Scrunk and rooRoooo are going to get two, but with 20 seconds, maybe enemy's done enough, or Uber's done enough damage here. Down to a 2 versus 2, the bomb's just about getting planted. 2 for both sides remain, although the T's won't know what is going on in construction right now. Slemmy going to have a look, but he won't be able to get into position to have a proper crossfire with his teammate, although rooRoooo's playing quite shallow as well in first oranges. Now, Lucky taking the pot shots, no trade to have there for Slemmy. He's going to get taken down with ease as well.
5-star rating for Uber then, with those 2 kills.
I said it yesterday, didn't I?
Oh, did you say it yesterday?
Yeah, mate. Oh. If you come up with a new thing today, I will pay for the next T.
Alright. Actually, I held back on one, which I don't think you said earlier.
Though. If it sucks, then you're paying for the T.
Okay, that's a fair deal. I'll take that.
Well, how do we actually rate quality of pun?
Me.
Okay. He's just the judge and the jury.
He's the all-knowing pun master.
Okay, so enemy get their first round on the board.
And because Splyce actually decided to be somewhat greedy in that first buy round, they will have the opportunity to get a full buy, and they got an op on Peter as well.
I think that it's common for the CTs to read with 40-30 seconds on the clock that a B push is much more likely than the A push.
Yeah, but you can also get a lot easier map control over Banana if you work that way earlier as a T than what you can up mid, because there's so many, or you can get spotted from so long distances without being especially aggressive towards mid and A than on B.
Okay, so koosta's going to get caught unawares. Lucky goes down as well. MAiNLiNE though with a 3-man to spin the round back in the favour of the CTs, but they finally goes down. The bomb site's been locked. The smoke coming down into the arch, and who knows who's going to take this round. Got a rotation from the CTs up mid. One is top mid. Both headed towards shorts.
This is a fairly tough ask considering that the smokes are down currently. It's going to kill a lot of time away from the clock. We can see Scrunk has got very good engagements possible as that smoke's still up. He will back away though to toss in some grenades. And again, delaying the CTs. He will spot maybe even both of them there. I'm not sure if he saw them both, but in they come now, making all the noise. And rooRoooo has the crossfire with Scrunk, and you can see it is absolute perfection. Round is handily dealt with by Splyce. It was a wonderful play at the end.
I think there was a bit of an error on short there from enemy, because you saw in their first buy round they had 2 people on short. I think one was boosted onto the terrace roof, but he was facing the wall in case any flashes came in, so he could hold things down while his teammate was blind. But he got caught with a smoke grenade, so there was nobody to hold the defense. MAiNLiNE very lucky to get a 3-man there, but enemy will lose the round regardless.
Scrunk actually doing pretty well for himself. 6-1 with 140 ping. And Stewie back to that Mac 10, so I'm assuming he's going to be the sacrificial lamb towards B once more.
It's that German efficiency. Even with 140 ping.
Yeah. And enemy already out of smokes. 2 flashes on Relyks and Uber, but not much more. Actually, 170.
God damn.
I love it as well because in buying the Mac 10, they're saying, okay, you are the guy that is, like we
can sacrifice you.
Yeah, we want you to die in this round basically, or we want to leave that opportunity there.
Interestingly, you would think they'd put it on the guy with 180 ping, but he's top fragging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very nice that Stewie is just open to it as well.
Yeah, well, that's team play for you. So MAiNLiNE's got to get some info for his team, but again, they are on a eco. Well, they're on a force buy, in fact. So they'll be looking to get some damage in here, but Stewie's going to spam. He's getting a cannon spam straight to the face. Is Uber. Down goes Relyks as well, leaving Lucky alone. He's got full armor, not just the Kevlar. He's got the helmet as well as his 5.7, carrying $1,500, and looks like he will head for the save. There is one Splyce player down, and with Stewie still rocking the Mac 10, you have to wonder if there is an AK to be picked up. If there is, perhaps Splyce will be looking for it as well. Maybe having a read that Lucky would be headed in that direction, but he's going to be hanging out by the fridge.
Ooh. Lucky actually gives away his position.
Panic shot. Maybe his demise. No, he's going to live for now.
Get some Mac 10 for his troubles. Well, I guess he could drop off the Mac 10 the next round. And hope that some of his teammates maybe bolster their economy a tiny bit.
It's pretty crazy though how well Splyce have been handling their rounds. Enemy GG have not had really any good or solid defenses. One of them, which looked okay, they still lost around it, but it required MAiNLiNE to get a crazy 3K with the M4A1S. So yeah, this is quite encouraging after them having to Splyce having to drop aKis due to the fact that he's had a power cut, putting in their 180 ping coach. We do have the apartments take here from Splyce, so looking to run a different anti-eco than some of the previous rounds.
And this time Stewie does not have a Mac 10. First man out though, and rooRoooo is going to take down Lucky, so the one guy with armor is down on enemy's side. Well, right now it's more of a textbook cleanup for Splyce.
Ooh, nice save there by Skrek. koosta had an angle almost onto Peter, somehow sneakily. So, Uber's running around with the Mac 10. Somewhat of a double peak here from the CTs, obviously looking for some superior weaponry as they move towards a buy round. 6-1 on a T side here for Splyce. A very, very strong start for them. Enemy's economy in bad shape as well. Does not bode well for them going forward.
I kind of like how Splyce set up at the end there. They had, of course, a couple players being able to watch for anybody, just jumping in to push the site so they can hide in the corner. And the only abusable spot to, for those players to die from is apartments, but they had forward presence on the apartments with the rest of the players. Nice little setup at the end, but 6-1 and the AWP is on koosta now. He was excellent with that yesterday.
It really was, and I think they're going to need him to win out that battle with Peter and pretty much everyone else on Splyce as well. If you can get some early picks, that's going to do a lot for enemy, and they can kind of slow down, save their nades for quite some time, and make life really, really tough for Splyce.
So enemy have changed their approach and put 2 towards Arch instead of short, but there was some aggression towards B. The flash will force them away from their positions, and they will take 2 more traditional areas of the B bomb site. Initial smokes coming in now towards B. Some spam from Stewie2k, but this time he won't be as fruitful as he was with the Mac 10. Spotting the player behind cores, perhaps. And that player will come in to return fire. Stewie going to lose half his health. Mess up the grenade as well, never good.
The one thing that is good for Splyce right now, though, is that Uber is the only guy with the smoke left.
koosta holding down the Arch position, but he's going to have more people coming his way. Sees the Molotov, and now CT is uncertain, but Relyks has come in for a 2-man. And will koosta peek again very quickly. Slemmy will go down. 5 men surviving for enemy. Crucial fact for their economy going forward.
Wow, rooRoooo has 16k? I didn't even realize he built up so much money. That's quite interesting. Perhaps he should have dropped an AK for Stewie, who's on $1,300 now.
Stewie's taking it like a man.
He really is. It's going to be cool to see if koosta can keep the performance up, because it seems quite key. Oh dear, they've messed up their deep banana smoke. That's going to be a nasty surprise.
Well, his nades are as good as his pistols, it seems. But as long as he's got the AWP, maybe we won't need to worry. Speaking of AWPs, Peter taking down Uber in the banana area. Relyks, how many frags can he get from this position? Surely he's going to be traded. 2 for him. He's going to see the bomb as well. The 3-man for Relyks, wiping out the push on banana. And that bomb, and maybe this round, will be shut down.
That is crazy that he managed to get so much with that. And now Splyce are scrambling. Seeing if they can recover. But that is going to be a tall order. Bomb down by the card. CTs from the A can start pushing if they want to try to sandwich the players. They've got to go for the bomb, and indeed, here we go. Moving in koosta with both frags. And both wallbangs, actually. But yeah, that spray was insane.
Yeah.
From Relyks. Did not expect him to get more than one, actually.
Yeah, I think he would have been happy, more than happy to get 2 in that situation. The fact that he gets Peter as well is just gravy. At that point, koosta not being much worse with those 2 no-scopes. Actually a bit questionable, or questioning what enemy wanted to do there when they had 2 people playing aggressively to hold off the bomb in banana, but then had 2 people still on that A bomb site.
Right, yeah. I was thinking exactly the same.
It works out in the end, though. And, well, if I'm not mistaken, Splyce are nearing the point where they actually would need to eco, and that could be a big break for enemy.
So enemy keep changing their approach over towards the A site, moving back to a double arch play now. koosta going to be towards the library. So a mobile AWP, very fast run past the angle there to find out what's going on. It will sense Peter. Now they're moving away from arch, maybe expecting a fast short play because of that smoke on arch. But nothing doing for Splyce just yet, more or less baiting the grenades from the CT side. See how many they can exhaust before they go for their final push. Bomb still on banana for the time being. And again, koosta playing from library again. When it comes to AWPers, in koosta's position, he can jump on some furniture behind him. So if Peter was to go for a bit of a crouch peek, he'd be more likely to hit koosta in the leg than the chest. But that's not going to happen on this occasion. A bit of a push coming in from Stewie2k. This time he hasn't got a Mac 10 and he's going to take down Relyks.
Yeah, you got to love his entrying, Stewie2k. He actually picks up a frag there. There's a rotation towards A now that enemy has felt what's going on. And the crossfires are quite strong. It looks like Splyce haven't really thrown in the nades they should be throwing in. Right now they're just going one at a time. This is not an efficient way to handle this push. And enemy GG are going to be happy to clean up as a punish.
The idea from Splyce was good, but I'm not really sure where their nades went at that point after that, because Stewie getting a frag actually forced a rotation from, I think it was koosta, who actually bailed from library and started moving towards B when Splyce was pretty much all the way up in quad.
A couple of their players died, I think, with like 3 nades each on them. It's pretty crazy.
And if you could have added smoke for pet or smoke just for the arch corner as well, then you could have had potentially 2 of the Splyce members surviving for a lot longer time.
Indeed. Now we have the push though, as a response, bit of a force spy situation with Splyce. And nades are going to be thrown in by both teams, and it looks pretty good here. We were able to pick up 2 frags, and once again, enemy looking to hold on to this round pretty well.
The force spy has been crushed by the CT, surviving with 4 players, so their economy will continue to grow. Splyce with... They got close to the site, but that's about it. Just a bit of a consolation for them, as they did not achieve much of value. Enemy closing the gap now to just the 1 round.
I'm really enjoying watching Stewie play, actually, because he's playing so fearlessly. So he's just jumping headfirst into everything.
Yeah, I completely agree there. It's quite fun to watch. He really is embodying the entry fragger role.
Yeah. Well, pretty quick push coming up from Splyce here up mid.
And it's going to result in a frag for MAiNLiNE. Trades coming in though, and some fire as well, as 3 players is what's left here. Now only 2 for Splyce as they try to force their way into the A bomb site. It's quite difficult though. Again, lack of grenades to cover themselves is allowing koosta 3 reign with the AWP, and he's going to have that all day. Looking for the last player now, and really Scrunk with that 180 ping is going to go down. So 6-6 has been tied up by enemy after a very shaky start, and their money is really crazy good now.
koosta is so damn fast with that op. Like he barely scopes before he shoots. He's definitely putting in the work. Peter, on the other hand, on Splyce is hanging a bit behind. Obviously, hard to get hands on that op when your economy is in tatters. An enemy right now, definitely driving with momentum.
And we got a bit of pressure up middle here from Splyce. They again have the Tech 9s, Kevlars, and Stewie's actually not got one. He's probably going to be the first man in again, expecting to just die regardless, and not wanting to waste money. And we'll have a big play coming in from koosta there. 2 frags. Lucky also catching a couple as they go for the frag onto koosta, resulting in a victory and a 7-6 scoreline. So enemy now taking the reins in this first half, and Peter is now going to get his hands on the AWP that you're talking about.
Yeah, and he needs to come up big in this round. If Splyce can slow things down, find picks instead of having to rush into basically a 5-man enemy team, then that would be great for them. Because they've been doing a good job of wasting the nades of enemy, but enemy going aggressive here. And Relyks and Uber are going to clean up 3 people on their own, and all of a sudden, Splyce completely split up with the bomb dropped in vENdetta.
That is a bit of a surprise, a nasty surprise for the T side, and koosta is still causing enormous problems for these players. Slemmy, last man standing now for Splyce. Don't fancy his chances with that crossfire. This is the second last round of the first half. He's got $700 in the bank. What option does he take here?
I wouldn't even call it crossfire. I'd say a firing squad. At this point, just everybody's staring at his position. This is pretty much the epitome of hopelessness.
I think try to delay as much time as possible while being nearby, and then try to bail the hell out of there.
It's a welcome party hosted by King Jom Un, and there is the results. One more round in this half. We'll see what kind of buy the T's can offer. Got some AKs coming out, the odd Galil here and there. Skrunk yet to buy. He's going to go for the AK and no helmet. Probably looking to use as few bullets as possible considering his ping. Double orbs coming out for the enemy side. Relyks is going to be rocking an AWP as well. Although I doubt he will be able to impress us more than koosta, who always seems to shine with the big green gun.
Yeah, him picking that up actually seemed to change the face of this match completely. And we have pressure on Banana, players lost for both sides. Stewie again with a nice opening. However, Uber is close. If they can take down Uber, they've got a clean path. He's managing just barely to escape. And he's going to toss in some nades to keep himself safe. And that's going to delay any play that Splyce would have had. And talking about delaying plays, koosta once again, 3 kills, a trio of frags with that sniper rifle. And Stewie2k is the only man left standing. This koosta guy is next level.
He really is. Like, we haven't seen that many games of enemy so far, but the games we've seen of him, he's just been playing out of his mind.
High consistency.
Absolutely. And he's not playing an extremely passive style either. He's actually looking for engagements as well, not being afraid at any given point.
So you can see he's just looking straight down, so the barrel of his gun does not expose his position. Waiting for the beeps, but going for a peek there, being spotted by Stewie2k. And Stewie2k is going to change his approach. Obviously, he doesn't want a final out. koosta is in the wilds, popping a shot off. He's got his teammates finally rotating from the B-bomb site. 14 seconds on the clock, and koosta will finish things off there for a 9-6 half. Not terrible, I'd say.
It's pretty decent, yeah. Especially given how they started. You could see, yeah, Kapadia pointing it out. It's 8 rounds in a row. And koosta getting that off pretty much changed the tide of the game in many ways.
19 for 7. Definitely carrying his weight, and then some. So enemy will be on the T-pistol now. 4 Kevlars for them. koosta with a flash and a smoke. 4 Kevlars for Splyce, and the defuse kit onto Slemmy with a cameo appearance and a smoke grenade of his own. Many enemy players over towards the apps. It's not often these days you see the smoke go down into the truck and all the players burst out of the apartment door. Slemmy playing it close, having a look for some information. Seems there are some shenanigans going on and potentially a rotation back towards B.
Yeah, Splyce still holding their ground on A though. 3 players there looking for the engagement. Skrunk a little bit open in this position by Pit. He's going to go repositioning. He'll find a headshot actually. Slemmy's bearing down on them from a balcony as well. Things not looking perfect here for Splyce as they are forced to try to retake just their B players. And rooRoooo getting shot in the back of the head there. Can he get the frag? He will not. koosta locking it down. 3 players for Stewie to find. He's going to go the first engagement. Runs out of bullets. Uber picking that one up, and enemy look very good for this one now.
Absolutely. So after a rough start, they've just come out guns blazing. And this is their map pick, so you would expect them to be able to play fairly well at it. And from what we've seen in the later stages, they've definitely been doing so. Now, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they can play the anti-eco as well as Splyce did.
Well, yeah. Splyce on the 4 spy. Peter with the scout, no armor after getting a kill in the previous round. Will afford him the money for the scoot. Enemy will have to... They will be tasked with identifying the locations of these CT plays and trying to play accordingly or eliminate them accordingly. MAiNLiNE and Relyks going to be rocking the Mac 10s. Koosta also in there with the MP7. Would be good for some money. Although MAiNLiNE going to get taken out for free. Just bouncing down mid with nobody covering. Bit of a sloppy play there by the T's, you could say.
Definitely. They do have quite a few smokes, and it seems like they're going to be setting up for a pretty standard retake, but Splyce aware of this.
So frag's coming in, and it's going to be lucky to pick up 2 to clean up the bomb site. So Slemmy and Peter on the rotation. Peter could definitely get some damage in with the scout, but there is a smoke still up, but it's probably going to go away quite soon. And Slemmy has found himself through to construction. They essentially only hoping to get damage done here. I don't think they have any false illusion or false hope as to what is actually going to happen, which is them losing the round. And you can see now Slemmy backing away with the Kevlar helmet and 5-7. Peter unable to find any shots, so looks like no one's going to die. Another round for enemy. They look quite good for this one now. I wonder how the ping issue and the lack of aKis is going to affect Splyce on the CT side, because if they can get the money going, the CT side can be quite favourable. But if you're not playing with a guy that's really used to used to playing off of, then that's going to be definitely quite a disadvantage.
Yeah, it's really tough, and you have to be, well, as with most maps really, but knowing when to rotate, having those rotations locked in is really, really important on the CT side, so you don't get split up and basically thinned out with your defense, and that can be hard when you're playing with the stand-in.
Well, you can see Skrunk preparing to get the timing smoke over towards Banana to slow things down there. Again, it is an eco, so we're not expecting much here from Splyce. Enemy should be getting to round 12 pretty easily here. 2 players deep in Banana, 2 deep in top mid, and then 1 passive towards apps. Always got to be careful in apps versus the ecos. Those T50s will be lethal from that range. It's not often you'll see a team going through apps on an anti-eco round. Best avoided, some might say.
Uber kind of going past his destination right there. He should have waited for his teammates.
Well, the teammates are here now, and they are doing a lot of damage, but we're actually finding a pretty nuts kill there with that USP. But that should be about the sum of it for Splyce in this round. And we'll see pretty much the same end, I think, to this round as we saw to the previous one, or something quite...
Dude, enemy have a boost behind new boxes?
Oh, they do.
So they might be able to catch Peter, actually. There we go.
Oh, nice. Insta headshot there from MAiNLiNE. 3 players for Skrunk to try to kill with this scout and 180 ping, and he's going to make it happen, actually, killing 2 players.
Easy.
That's pretty nice, actually. Some good damage in there.
He's not going to have much use of the scout in the upcoming round unless Peter decides to go for scout instead of an op here. Seems like Skrunk is trying to get an AK in his hands, but it's not going to happen. There we go. Well, there you have it.
That was great. Nice knife. Nice knife. Peter's going to continue with the scout, in fact, so they're not going to go for another M4. Not sure if they had the money for an AWP. Ooh, well, Relyks going to take... It looks like that grenade was literally underneath the player there, but koosta's on 75. Relyks was on... Took about 15 points of damage there.
I would like to see Peter actually playing a tiny bit aggressive with that scout, because it's not the worst gun in the world to actually lose, and just getting a tag onto 1 or 2 players on the enemy team is actually going to do a lot for you once they try to get into a bomb site. And it's going to be really tough to do if enemy group up and actually just attack you as as a 5-man unit, as opposed to just picking them apart when they're in smaller groups.
We're seeing a bit of a default here from enemy as well, where they have the map control up forward on banana, and now they're starting to take position towards A, actually going very aggressive into quad straight away. And with Splyce playing so incredibly passively, enemy GG could very easily execute onto, or create a set play onto the A bomb site if they chose to do that. And Peter's still on a scout here, so not ideal for Splyce. They're really coming in from behind in that sense. And he's even smoked off, trying to use the jumping there to see if he can spot something. rooRoooo is covering by the fountain. CT arch, and it looks like he's good for it. 2 frags from him. He'll stop the approach, the split attempt onto the B bomb side. So 3 players from enemy now going in, have to get it done, and Stewie2k will be the first to fall as Uber makes their presence felt.
So is that a smoke down on CT? Indeed it is. So the bomb should get planted here unless something horrible happens. Uber going to get a frag onto rooRoooo, so we're down to a 3 versus 3 now. koosta trying to watch 2 places at once, and now enemy are going to be in the post-plant positions. That crossfire coming in. Slemmy looking from ruins, but is koosta going to peek him? koosta's on banana. He's around the corner, focusing on CT actually. He's going to spot Scrunk and take him down to Peter versus 2. And Uber's going to take him down while Peter focuses on koosta. So enemy will continue their winning ways. Could be a fast game 1.
Very well could, and enemy doing something similar to what they did versus Cloud9.
12 rounds in a row.
So trying to do that B split. I think versus Cloud9 we only saw them commit with 1 person trying to split through spawn, but in any case it actually works out, even with the late smoke in CT spawn as well. So they didn't even put that down before they had gotten the frag onto the B bomb site, which is a bit iffy because that could have slowed them down quite significantly.
Yeah, I mean, right now Splyce, they've been struggling for a while, and looks like their struggles will continue as we do get the push potential out of enemy GG. The presence is felt by Splyce, and the 2 players there, they're going to have to perform a miracle to stop the engine, the tank that will be rolling in to take an occupation onto the B bomb site. Some more nades coming in from enemy GG now. Perhaps soon they will have had enough, and we'll just go with the flashes through the smoke. A lot of noise here, but not a lot of action.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with those P250s though. They did get nerfed in terms of magazine size, so you can't be spamming those every day. Now koosta is looking towards Arch. Is anybody covering him in the boiler? As we saw a player lost from that before. 2 frags coming in for the CTs, 2 frags coming in for the Ts. It's the Ts who have taken over the A bomb site. No one is watching those weapons that were dropped though, and there is a rotation coming in from top mid, so I think we might see 3 rifles on these 3 CT players very shortly. Scrunk's picked up the AWP, and with 120, 180 ping, might be a bit difficult for him, but we'll have to wait and see. He's surprised us already. rooRoooo still with the CZ.
And they're bailing. Well, they don't have a defuse kit, so I guess they realize that they're not going to be able to clear out the site in time and actually get a defuse on the bomb. So now they're hoping for either exits or just saving the weapons in for the upcoming round.
Yeah, those are some juicy weapons as well, considering, well, you can see they've got $16,000 on them at the moment, so even more money than the T's. Scrunk almost picking up a gun from koosta as well. That would have been a great bonus.
Yeah, I think that would have been a kill with normal thing.
So it is nigh. The end is nigh for Splyce on map number 1, it would appear. I've got to say, koosta has, of all these the newer sides, whose brands we're unfamiliar with, he has been maybe one of the most impressive players that I have seen. But we'll have to see how this will continue, how the story will unfold. Peter going with the orb there for a quick frag, but I think all he did was kill a chicken.
If it was liquid, we could have said, the end is nay.
The end is there.
Thanks for back there. Well, Relyks has been taken down on banana, so a good start from Splyce in this round. They do have an 8th round deficit, however, so many more frags will be required from the CT team. They still have 3 people over towards B, so no rotation to bolster the B defenses. There are a number of enemy players over to that direction, just Lucky lurking towards top mid at present, being very careful around the cart to watch his 6, as they would say in America. Being careful of an apps push, but Splyce with the man advantage are just going to sit on that. You can see they've got the kind of medium range setup on A, with a play towards Arch, although he's starting to move around towards Library/site as well, which may leave the Splyce players on B a bit more isolated. rooRoooo perhaps suggesting he's rotating towards A by running away and then coming back. Molotov coming in to try and stop this push from enemy. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, nades flying all over the place, soaring through the skies. The bullets of Stewie will also do. He's still alive, but he's not got any frags. And it is enemy GG who are suffering, though. They've lost 2 members. And the CT presence is knocking at the door of the bomb site. It's koosta to take down Stewie2k. He will equalize the situation on the numbers as Peter chimes in as well. And now things looking quite good. Just Uber left. But will his fare be cancelled here in this situation in this 1 versus 2? We've got Peter and Slemmy still alive, and the time is run out for Uber.
Well, Dan, I suppose I use some tea.
Yeah.
Did you not use that one? Because I wasn't.
Definitely passed the test.
Nice.
There was no fair cancellation yesterday.
Well,
there we go. So, enemies still have double the score of Splyce, and the pressure will continue with this force by 2 aKs, 3 Tech 9s, a number of grenades, a reasonable amount of grenades, some nuisance Molotovs, and a bunch of smokes and flashes. Where will they head? Splyce starting with 3 people over towards B with an aggressive push, but can they react fast enough when they see enemy pushing A?
It's going to be a big ask here. We have Splyce lying in wait. They've got the AWP on Peter actually in the pit position. This is going to be quite interesting. He's going to have a lot of players swarming him. They might even smoke him off. He's getting burned alive! What on earth just happened to Peter? Now it's 4 players of enemy GG on the bomb site, but in comes rooRoooo out of nowhere, taking kills left and right with Slemmy. And now Uber is very low. Lucky needs to pick up a weapon. He's stuck on a Tech 9. The bomb is going to go down. That's good. Good situation here for the T's, but can they hold against the pressure? The flashes are excellent here, and Lucky does not need a rifle. The Tech 9 will get it done, and enemy GG move to map points.
Yeah, not really sure what went on with Peter right there. Definitely should have been way better defense from Splyce initially. I think Slemmy and rooRoooo do a decent job of holding enemy back and actually withering the numbers, but Peter definitely should have been alive to pick up at least 1 frag in a situation like that.
Oh, he's going to get a tag onto Relyks through the corner of the wall, excuse me, and head towards absent takedown. Lucky in that position. Meanwhile, Stewie2k has been lost towards B. Can they execute on rooRoooo? He's got a nice pop flash to slow down the advance, and Skrunk's going to get there in time to provide some support, but he's only got a 5-7 in this situation. koosta being taken down by rooRoooo, and Skrunk comes through the smoke there. 180 ping to find a frag and pick up the AK onto Uber. Relyks with all of 2 HP, wondering what to do with MAiNLiNE.
Yeah, this is a pretty rough situation. There's no sugarcoating this one. And so enemy DG will decide to rotate in towards A and take their chances with Peter. Now Peter, can he redeem himself after his past transgressions and discrepancies and perhaps general lack of awareness that he's on fire? Well, looks like that will be the case. 2 frags in that round from him. 8-15 is the score for Splyce. It's a lot of rounds to recover to force the overtime. And at least they get to play against Nico.
A tiny bit worrying that Skrunk with 180 ping is actually the 2nd top fragger for Splyce right now.
Hey, sometimes you got to frag. Enemy on a 4 spy, looking to wear down the Splyce team. Death by paper cuts, perhaps. But do they have a strategy? Do they have an execute with said Tech 9s? Only time will tell. They don't have a lot of grenades. They've got the 1 smoke, which one would presume would go towards the CT position. The flashbangs are coming, and they've got the Molotov as well. The counter flashes, though, are going to ruin the timing, and they're going to be forced to run through the flames. The gates of hell are open, and they are being welcomed with cold steel.
What is rooRoooo doing exactly? He's just going for it. It seems like he's having a bit of a fit there, but he's back into the action. He's going to finish off MAiNLiNE, and it's going to be 15-9. They climb their way back. They have somewhat of an ascension, but I don't know how high they will go before they slide all the way back down again.
You would have imagined that rooRoooo actually heard where the other Tech 9 shots were coming from at a certain point.
Maybe he's listening to a drum and bass.
That's true. Maybe, yeah. That was a pretty fast tempo.
Well, enemy are on the side now. On the eco, excuse me. I have no idea what I was just saying there. On the side. Lucky trying to force his way through the flames, but Peter's going to be good for it. He's going to go down unceremoniously. So how much damage can enemy do to the C2 economy? Not that much. Peter will go down. His AWP will no doubt be picked up. And enemy will be looking to cause yet more damage in this round. Relyks with a bit less money than his teammates, but it seems the buy is coming in for the T's.
Yeah, Relyks actually opting to go for an AK, not a Tech 9 and nades. Actually, yeah, he managed to scrape quite a bit actually in the end. So enemy have enough nades to actually get a pretty decent execute towards, well, any of the sites should they opt to go for. Right now it's all about making sure that they don't get picked up by Peter early on and they get somewhat closer to a bomb site before they actually start an execute.
So, enemy GG. Just looking for some basic map control to begin with. It's a little bit slow though. Already almost 30 seconds have passed and they are without any banana control. They've just only now gotten a look in on apartments. However, Uber able to pick up a frag towards B. That's going to cause a rotation from Splyce. And in fact, or maybe an over-rotation, they are almost rotating 2 extra players. I think they had maybe a bit of a miscommunication there for a moment as Peter goes back to library. So now Splyce split 2 to a bomb site. This is a great situation for enemy GG.
Seems enemy looking for more picks, and indeed rooRoooo's going to get taken down, peppered with the taps. There's still one more player on the B bomb site, and Uber will be left to cause trouble on his own. Skrunk's taking significant damage here, but he's going to find a kill on Uber, surviving with 13 HP. However, Splyce now in a weird situation where they don't really know what's going on. They're playing deep. They don't have the info. There is a smoke down on Arch, and they're going to have to gamble. Peter heading towards B now.
Oh dear, poor Skrunk, he is alone on 13 HP. Peter able to cover from the blue truck, but actually the team's not making their way across just yet. But Relyks will take down Peter's only cover. Now he's under a lot of pressure, worrying about the flank, and that is why. Relyks comes in, and enemy GG close, 16-10, map number 1 will be theirs.
Indeed, so enemy will win their own pick, and now we're going to go on to the pick of the other side, which was Splyce, formerly known as Follow Esports. So, what is our review of that match, Halvor? How did you feel about that?
Pretty solid play from enemy through and through. Bit of a shame that Splyce kind of let up the pressure. I think they did a really good job for the first half of their T side. Played really good anti-ecos, didn't waste anything as well. That was really encouraging to see. On their, pretty much the game change tied when koosta was able to get up to that op and basically tear Splyce apart.
So Dan, what did you think of koosta's performance on that map?
Yeah, he's showing to be a very accomplished AWPer. He's very good at the defensive shots, the fast shots. Of course, you know, for me, the comparison is always going to be, can you do all the things that Guardian can do as well as Guardian? Of course, that's obviously, you know, you can never compare someone to Guardian, but I'm looking at all the stats, all the skill sets that someone needs to have to be a great AWPer. He's got a lot of them. I mean, we see more of him in more maps, and I'm excited to see that. We can see already that he can do the fast shots, which is important. So he's got the skill, but I want to see wide application of that. So not jumping into judgment too quickly.
All right, well, it's time to enter the Yanko zone. Mr. Yanko.
Yes.
Please, sir, go forth and be merry.
Well,
Press the button.
press the button.
One
One
time for
day.
EU, one
One
time
day.
for NA.
One day. I'm not used to the studio things. Usually everything's set for me when I come here. I know how to press buttons. Well, enemy won 13 rounds in a row, guys. I don't know if you noticed that. Like after they were down 6-1, 7-1, something like that, they won the next 13 rounds. They were up 14-6, I think it was at some point. But then kinda Splyce started pulling bad, but it was a done game at that point. Enemy was eventually going to get those 2 rounds. I feel that it's really unfortunate that they have to play with a stand-in that has 170 ping. I would have still picked out enemy to win Inferno, but they're probably gonna win Mirage too if Splyce cannot fill their full roster. I'm gonna see if this is ready now.
I think that's currently down for maintenance,
yet.
so we'll have to come back to that segment later.
I had a good round.
Do you think it's going to be a case that that Skrunk is going to look at where he's playing and then just try to abuse him, basically, trying to exploit him?
And be the first guy jumping out, so you know that he just is the bait for his team, yeah, so that he can get killed as easily.
He's a sacrifice. He's a small goat at the top of the mountain.
I mean, I've never played with such a high ping. I guess it's rather difficult to play like that. It's unfortunate, but I mean, if I were them, I would have picked just another player, maybe a ringer or something. You know, you
From the
could tell
US.
from their T-side play as well that they had to improvise a lot. It didn't really work out, as you said, once koosta got the AWP. So I don't really know. I just hope that they can get their standard 5 to play. If not, I feel that it's going to be 2-0 for enemy.
Okay, we're going to go to a short break, and when we return, oh well, I think we actually have time for you to have your little your rounds.
Let's
Show and
try.
tell.
Yanko.
Woohoo!
So let's do this.
All right. So play. Woohoo! Here it is. So this is actually the round where enemy decided to go for an A fake. They wanted to end the round on B. And let me fast forward a little bit. This is just their default. They have control of banana, which is when you want to execute a fake, you need to have map control, so that you don't just get surprised somewhere with one guy killing all of your team pretty much. So now you can see their players rotating, Relyks and koosta over there to get mid control. And after that, they're going to throw the smokes towards pit and everything and go with the C4 back to B. Fast forward a little bit more. Alright, so this is where they actually wanted to go for a B split. Now they're going to lose both players here. And look at Stewie, right? I'm going to pause here. Alright, so he's the lone player on B in this setup. His team went for a setup where there were 4 players on A. They will get these 2 kills and he will have time. So for a couple of seconds, there will be a situation where Splyce has a 5v3 advantage, but Stewie is a lone player on B, so he basically has a 1v3 on his side, and he's in a good spot for that particular situation. He's at the emo spot, dark spot, however you want to call it, and he was hidden when they initially started coming in. Now I'm gonna play it. So now he's hidden in that spot. Enemy is entering the site, and he decides to pick here, and you see that. Pause, please. No, I messed up. Sorry, guys. Okay, but what I wanted to show there when I paused the game, I'm gonna try to fast forward it right now because this is really important, boys.
There we go.
Okay, so look where his teammates are at the moment he dies. rooRoooo is kinda there, but with one smoke that you see Uber still has, he's gonna smoke out city. There's not much rooRoooo can do there. So by that peak, he risked getting killed. He did get killed. He gave enemy the control of the site. They got into an after plan situation, which even in a 3v4 is winnable for the T's, especially when you also have an op, which can be behind the new box, which is a very powerful position. So ending this round, enemy is gonna win it. It's gonna put them up to 13-6, later on 14-6, and if maybe Splyce won this round, maybe they could get some consecutive rounds, get some momentum, but unfortunately it weren't to be. And we talked about this a couple of times. If you're that lone player on B, you need to know what's the best thing for you to do. There was no reason for him to peek there, and that single move cost his team the round. We will not know if in the grand scheme of things it was that important or not, but definitely an unnecessary mistake in my opinion.
And that was Weatherman Yanko.
Okay, so we'll go to a short break, and when we come back, map 2 of this best of 3. See you here shortly.